But for me, I don't understand this. I didn't like it. I just thought that it wasn't the time or the place. Does anybody out there agree with me? Does anybody out there agree with me? Because the comments say that I'm out here by myself.
It's coming.
Welcome to another episode of the That's Scary with Melanie P podcast. I'm your girl, Melanie P, and we're here to have a conversation, y'all. I told you on the last episode that I moved and I'm getting back into my groove, and I'm here with the episodes, y'all. Now listen, this first episode that I'm coming back to you guys with, it may be honestly an unpopular opinion, and here's the thing. I'm definitely open for everyone's thoughts. Now, I know y'all gonna educate me in the comments because y'all always love to, which I love it. I love the healthy conversation. But if you don't agree, please respond respectfully. Okay? All right. Now listen, there was this post that I ran up on. I had ran up on Instagram, and this post was about a group of black girls, and it states, I know that's right, a group of black girls have gone viral for celebrating their graduation. Now, I intentionally did not look at the comments because I didn't want the comments to change the way that my first thoughts when I saw this, okay? Now, the comments popped up automatically because now I'm sharing my screen. But anyway, take a look at this. This is a group of black girls and they're being praised for celebrating. Let me get this going. Celebrating their graduation. There's no caption. The caption just says fire. And this is from Essence of Black Culture. Now listen, help me help you, or help you help me. It is something about this that I get why people loved it. I get why the comments were go girl, go girl. But for me, I don't understand this. I didn't like it. I don't understand it, and I don't understand why this had to be done. I truly, truly don't. These girls are at a graduation ceremony, keyword ceremony, and honestly, I didn't dig to see where they were graduating from. I didn't dig to see what school it was. This is all I had to see, and I just thought that it wasn't the time or the place. And I truly did not want to look at the comments because I figured that the comments would likely be on my side, but I didn't want the small chance I thought that the comments would not be on my side, and then that would sway my thoughts and opinions. Let's read some of these comments. Okay, Essence of Black Culture says fire emoji, fire emoji, fire emoji. This made me so happy. Get it, girls. Dr. Heavenly, fire, claps. There was a time we were killed for reading. I'm so here for it. Their ancestors' wildest dreams. This gave me chills. Love this for them. I wish we could have turned up like this. The way I know my whole graduating class would have went off. I love this so much for them. Celebrate loud, my people. It's giving praise dance. Not a high heel in sight. These ladies was ready to celebrate. Backflipping a dress and a degree. I just graduated and baby, I just wanted to go home after I walked the stage. Congrats to them though. This video is a quintessential mantra. We can do both. Brains turn up, so forth and so on. Now, I don't see anybody in the comments thinking what I thought, but that's not going to change my commentary on this. Now, this right here is a very, very, very sticky conversation, sticky thought process in my head, because there's a lot of things that people might applaud or people might celebrate, or think that because we're wearing our hair a certain way, or because we are doing, acting like this at a graduation ceremony, then that just really shows black people, black power, whatever. And I just don't agree with it. I just don't think this was a time and place for that. And hear me out. I was having this conversation with a friend recently because this is how this started. I was out a couple of months ago getting something done to my car, and it was this black boy, and he was so well spoken. He was just very smart, very educated seeming. This was at a tire place, I believe. And he had these dreads. And they were in his face the whole way. Like his whole eyes, everything was covered in dreads. And so as he was behind the register, checking out a store full of white people, you couldn't even really see his eyes. You could barely see his mouth because the dreads were in his face, and he had to keep doing like this right here. But the whole time he was talking, the dreads was in his face. And I remember thinking to myself, as a mature Black woman, a part of me wanted to say to him, you know, I don't know what I wanted to say to him, but I wanted to encourage him to take his hair out of his face. Because unfortunately, we live in a society, and it does not make this right, but unfortunately, we live in a society where things are not fair, things are not even. We know this is a dead horse, but we know that we have to unfortunately work a lot of times harder to get it to the same even starting point in so many different areas. So when I see this Black boy, and I see how smart he seems, how well spoken he seems, and I see that he has dreads covering his eyes. I just was looking at all these white men in that store, including his white supervisor, and it's like, unfortunately, they are judging him, and they're judging this man, and they're typecasting him. They are profiling him because he, unfortunately, I'm sure he's a Black boy. Now he's a Black boy with dreads, which I think are beautiful. My daughter has dreads. And he is a Black man who face is covering him. So they're not, before he even opens his mouth to show that he knows what he's talking about, before he even opens his mouth to express, he's very well-spoken and knowledgeable about his job, because they're seeing him with dreads in his face, because they're seeing his beautiful Black skin, they're already judging him. And so, long story short, basically I was just thinking, wow, I always look at young boys, young Black boys who have their dreads and they're in their face to the point to where they have to keep doing this or they cannot see. Like, they literally cannot see. And so I've had this conversation with a few different people, and it's been a 50-50 kind of response. Some saying that they truly agree with me, and that, unfortunately, we don't have the luxury to show up with dreads in our face, covering our mouth, covering our eyes. We cannot see. I don't have a son, but if I did, I just don't think that I would allow him to walk out the house with dreads in his face. Dreads, point blank period, beautiful, but unfortunately it's not a level playing ground. And so I guess I say all that to say, when I see stuff like this, now this really ain't got nothing to do with, to me, when I see this, it just looks wild. It just looks wild. If these were white people, I would think this was wild. It has nothing to do with them being Black. I just think Black, white, green, yellow, this is inappropriate. Black, white, green, yellow, why are you doing this at a graduation ceremony? But Black, bliggity, Black, you are Black. And unfortunately, this is what I told my daughter, who's very much Sister Soldier, which I admire because I'm sure that I taught her to be that way. But in order for you to be Sister Soldier, it's one thing for people to talk a good game, be very knowledgeable, know about all things Black, but then you're not even in any position to where you can help Black people and get them through those doors. So before you are Sister Soldier to your demise, you need to, unfortunately, in my opinion, code switch or do whatever you have to do to make it up this ladder, whatever that ladder be. I'm going to just use corporate ladder for shits and giggles, right? For just my own situation. But in order to be an effective Sister Soldier, you got to get in a position to where you can help usher in black people. You can be in a position to where, okay, you know what? I had to maybe shut up or maybe look a certain way in the beginning to get past the, you know, the biases, to get past the stereotypes. I had to do a certain thing to get past it. But now that I've made it, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to have that olive branch. I'm going to have the ladder, and I'm going to help pull in the community. And so that is the whole point of what I'm saying. And honestly, as I'm saying that, I don't get how anybody could disagree with me. I don't get how anybody black could not agree, because we know what it is. Like, we know what it is. I remember at a job I had, I came in and I had this black African head wrap over my head. Now, let me keep it a buck. It wasn't really a black African head wrap for the purposes of what I needed it to be. I had washed my hair and it was still wet, so I just put it in this wrap thing, right? Long story short, my manager at that time, I found out that she was asking people, because, you know, they're used to me coming in the office, prim, proper, straight hair, you know what I'm saying? A certain look. So when I show up with a damn dashiki on and a head wrap, now you are profiling me. You're literally going around the office and asking, what's going on with Melanie? Is she okay? What's that on her head? What's going on? Like, you're asking my coworkers these things, to the point to where I had to complain and you had to apologize to me for profiling me. Now, again, doesn't make it right, but it just goes to show that when I show up in this space, you know, hair looking a certain kind of way, dress a certain kind of way, safe, then it's okay. And you might let me go a little bit further, and you might promote me more than you would promote me if I had on this African dashiki and this African head wrap. It just proves the point. It don't make it right, but it proves the point. So here's the thing. In that situation, if I had to stay at that job, what I would have done is, if I would have stayed at that job, because here's the case study. I would have stayed at that job and I would have moved up. I would have become a VP, a director. And then if that situation would have happened under my watch, you're going to be written up. It's going to be action set in place, because now I have made it to a position to where I can actually be active, where I can actually execute things, not just talk. Because I know people are going to say, oh, well, look at you, you're up here, you're talking about these black girls and this, that, and the third, whatever. But niggas can talk a good game. Let's give it a buck. People talk a good game, but talking and action are two different things. Talking and execution are two different things. I'm going to get up, I'm going to be that VP, I'm going to be that CEO, I'm going to be that whatever, and now I'm going to be able to advocate for people who may have the dreads. You know, now I'm going to be in a position to where I can hire this man that has dreads, and I can mentor this man that has dreads in his face, or I can hire this black girl that may not look a certain way to other people. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, I don't know. I don't know if I'm wrong. I don't know if I'm right. I don't know. But what I will say in closing is that there's no fire for me. There's no watching these girls do this at a graduation ceremony. There is no go girl, go girl. I just don't think it looks like chaos. It looks chaotic. Jumping around, like, it's just, to me, it's just not the time and the place. I don't care what your color is. It's not the time and the place. But unfortunately, because you're black, we know what it is. And actually, I'm very surprised that nobody in the comments was saying that. I don't know, child. I don't know. Anyway, y'all, listen. I'm back and I'm better than ever. Make sure that you are checking out those links in my description. Support me, y'all. Support this beautiful black woman. And make sure you subscribe. Make sure you comment. I want to have a really good dialogue in the comments to see people's perspectives of what I'm saying. Does anybody out there look? Does anybody out there agree with me? Does anybody out there agree with me? Because the comments say that I'm out here by myself. Anyway, y'all, let me know what you think, and I'll see you on the next episode.